What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. It is Saturday and I think it is the 16th of January. Honestly, I have no idea what the dates are now anymore. I feel like every day bleeds into the next day, especially with the really early sunsets that we have here in the UK. Today is Saturday and this morning I got up really early. I'm really happy to be back on my sort of like normal sleep schedule, the sleep schedule that I was on before when I was in Hong Kong, which is go to bed fairly early, wake up sometime between 5 and 6. I did a small home workout today. I try to do some kind of home workout now every single day, which in the beginning was really hard because like I've mentioned before, I do not really like home workouts. I feel weird doing them by myself, like in my apartment, but I've gotten used to them and I have learned that there are some home workout things that I really do enjoy. I've incorporated more tubes and bands in my workouts, and I don't know if you guys have ever done this at your gym, but I'd love, I literally don't know what they're called, but my trainer will know what they're called. I'll find out and I'll tell you. I got those sliding disc things that you can do lunges on. So you put one foot on a sliding disc and you can slide it back instead of stepping back. And that way, I don't know, I feel like I have better control over my core that way. I'm still not very into like mat workouts. Every day after I do my home workout in the morning, I'm like, okay, well, maybe this afternoon I can set aside some time to do a yoga flow or like a yoga workout just so I can stretch more and have an afternoon or evening moment where I get that like blood going after sitting all day working from home. But so far I haven't really incorporated that into my routine yet, but it's a work in progress. We've been in lockdown here in a tier 4 lockdown in Oxford since December 26th, and tier 4 here means that all non-essential stores are closed and you cannot gather outside in groups. You can only meet up with one other person. You can't even like sit on a bench and hang out. Like going outside is not for socializing. You're supposed to only go outside when necessary, but you are allowed to go outside and exercise. I have not been outside to exercise. I have gotten my going outside thing down to just a couple of times a week, mostly only, not even mostly, but only to go to the supermarket. So over the past 2 weeks, I really have only left my apartment twice a week and just to go to the supermarket. They're taking this lockdown very seriously, and so am I, especially since I just got here and it's, I just don't want to be, I don't want to get sick, and I don't want to, God forbid, transfer something from one person to another. So just trying to be a good citizen. But today, Saturday, it was supposed to rain all day today. Like the weather report looked really grim all day today. And so originally I thought today would be a write-off, but around 11 o'clock in the morning, the sun, I'm looking out like the window, but the sun started to come out and the sky is like 30-40% blue right now, and it's kind of beautiful outside. The light is really beautiful. And since I have not been getting any steps, like my step average count has been so low over the past 2 weeks, and I've just been feeling like I'm not getting enough daily activity in my life. And I think I'm just gonna go for a walk. That's what I'm saying. And I'm giving this big explanation because I like hemmed and hawed about it for the past like 2 hours, and I'm still here in my apartment. Because even though you're allowed to go for walks on your own or with one other person, it's still like, I still feel like I'm just kind of doing something I shouldn't be doing. I don't know. Anyway, it's not gonna be a long walk. It's gonna be a fairly short walk. I'm gonna go to Christchurch Meadow, which is one of my favorite parks here in Oxford, and I'm gonna do probably one loop. It's just under 2 miles. So I thought I would take you guys with me. Let's go. It's pretty quiet today, which is nice. There are people people here, but it's not busy at all, like not remotely. You can see there's like barely anyone behind me. What a great walk. I'm so happy to be outside. The next day. Yesterday was so great. I was so happy, even though I was like nervous about going outside and doing a walk for the first time in like a couple of weeks. I'm so happy I did it because it felt so calming, so restorative, and it also reminded me why I wanted to move here to Oxford in the first place, because I love the sprawling greenery that is here. There are so many amazing parks and meadows here, and yeah, it just felt really, really good and really refreshing. By the time I finished my walk, the sun had already gone down pretty much. I went to go get a burrito bowl for dinner at a takeout Mexican place in town, and I'm pretty proud of myself. Like, over the past couple of weeks, I have really cut down on eating out. When I was in Hong Kong, I was eating out basically every single meal, except for like lunches at the office. The last 2.5 months I was there because I was living in a hotel. And so one of my biggest goals for coming here and moving to England and having my own kitchen is to start cooking for myself again. So I have only eaten out 3 times since moving into this apartment, and not even eating out. Twice have been takeout burrito bowls from this one place, and then once I ordered pizza. So that's it. In a whole month, I've only eaten out 3 times, and I'm really proud of myself for doing that. I am enjoying this sense of getting back to whole foods, eating less processed foods. Of course, all of our food is processed. Like, I'm not going and growing my own crops, but I do feel like these, for me, are steps in the right direction. It is Sunday. I mean, there are no stores open, and I don't really need anything, but I am gonna go out and buy the Sunday papers. I do love getting the newspapers here in England because there's so many to get. In New York, I usually would only get maybe the New York Times and the New York Post, maybe the New York Post, and only because I used to work there so many years ago. And it's kind of fun to have that balance of serious journalism and tabloid journalism. But here in England, I have so many other options. I always buy local newspapers, so here I buy the Oxford Mail. The Oxford Times is, I learned, the weekly version of the Oxford Mail, even though it's called something else. So I just got the Oxford Mail. I try to buy that every single day it's published, which I believe is 6 days a week and not Sundays. On Saturdays and Sundays, there are weekend editions to the newspaper. So on Saturday, I definitely buy the Financial Times because I've mentioned this in a previous video. Because of my job, a lot of my readers read the Financial Times, so it's important for me to know what they're seeing and what's at the top of their mind. But I usually pick up the Telegraph a few times a week, the Times of London a few times a week. I buy it in the tabloid format because it's a bit easier to read than the broadsheet format. Broadsheet is the giant newspaper format that like the New York Times is in. Tabloid is the smaller version that you can sort of read like a giant magazine. On the weekends, the newspapers have magazines that come with them. So the Sunday Style magazine with the Times, I really like. I've always really liked it. I think it's really well done. And I usually just go by what looks appealing on the newsstand. So I'm gonna head out and I'm gonna get some newspapers. I've also been like craving the feeling of holding a book. So there's no like bookstore open, but the newsagent W.H. Smith also has a selection of books that they brought to the ground floor. You can't go to like the second floor of W.H. Smith right now, which is where a lot of like the pop books are, like, you know, contemporary books and like novels and just bestsellers. It's one of those kinds of bookstores which is very market driven and, you know, contemporary, like what's popular driven. During the Tier 4 lockdown, they're sort of operating not that dissimilarly to Marks and Spencer, where they do have an essential side of the business that is still open, which is the ground floor, and they've brought a lot of their other popular products to the ground floor. So they'll bring some of the bestsellers down from the book selling floor to the ground floor. What I don't understand about WH Smith is that they have about a third of this shop here dedicated to greeting cards on the ground floor. And I just feel like that space would be great if they brought a lot of the books down to the ground floor. I don't ever see anybody in the greeting card section, which is literally a third of the ground floor space. It would be so great to be able to go buy books. Over the past few months, because I moved from Hong Kong, I stopped buying physical books. When I was in Hong Kong a few months ago, when I moved and realized that the books were so bulky and so difficult to move in Hong Kong, and I switched to Kindle. I have had pretty much every single Kindle since Kindles first came out, and I've really tried to read on the Kindle. I find for me, the Kindle is best for reading fiction because I'm not trying to dog ear things or fall down corners in books or highlight too much or save passages or do anything like that. So I don't feel the need for a physical book as much, but maybe it's because I want to go back to books as reference. When I read nonfiction, I prefer to read a physical book. Anyway, I think I might go try to find a book to read because I've been really craving the feeling of holding a book and reading it. So I'm going to see what they have on the ground floor at WH Smith. It is a beautiful day outside and I really want to get outside late this morning. Nothing opens here until 11 o'clock. But yesterday I do feel like I waited too long to go out, and by the time I was out for an hour and a half, the sun was already starting to go down. So it was getting kind of cold. And it's nice to be able to go out for a walk on the weekends if I need to. I do try to avoid the city center because even though it's not at all crowded in the city center, people are pretty much following all the rules and staying home and not going out. It still is a little bit too many people for my comfort zone right now. What's really interesting here is that people in Oxford tend to be pretty good about wearing masks indoors in supermarkets. I've been reading a lot of accounts in newspapers and obviously seeing so many videos online of people who are refusing to wear masks indoors, even when they go in shops. And there's a whole thing in England where now the police are giving out fines if you don't obey mask wearing rules and social distancing rules. But in Oxford, I haven't noticed that it's been a problem. To be honest, I have not been out that much. But still, there is no rule about wearing masks outdoors, even if you're sort of in a place like the city center where there are more people. I wear my mask everywhere just because I'm just used to it now because of living in Hong Kong, and everyone's been wearing a mask nonstop since January of 2020. So it's been a full year of this. And I wear a mask everywhere I go here if I'm outside of my home. And I'm not spending much time in the city center, which is, I think for now, it's the right idea. Although I do really miss the feeling of walking around and getting a coffee and sitting down for a moment, even if it's outside. But hopefully they're doing a pretty good job with the vaccines here in the UK. I think they vaccinated something 350,000 people yesterday alone. So hopefully in the next few months, things can go back to some semblance of normal public life, which is hugely optimistic at this point, but I am optimistic. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna go outside and buy some newspapers, and that will be my excursion for the day. I'm gonna go up to the roof of Westgate to have a view of the city. It's so beautiful today. Check it out. snack food things, but it's okay, it's the weekend, and now I'm gonna head home. So I got a sandwich, which is so exciting. I actually have not eaten like a supermarket sandwich since I've been back in the UK, and these used to be like my favorite things when I was a student, because every supermarket, and even Boots, which is like the CVS of England, they have meal deals. And when you're a student and you don't have a lot of money, you spend a lot of time, well, not you, I spend a lot of time eating meal deals where you get a sandwich, a snack, and a drink for like $2.75 or $2.50 or $3 or £3, depending on where you go. And I used to love sandwiches here. I don't know what it is about these supermarket sandwiches. It's maybe because it's just really basic, wholesome, like comfort foods. My favorite British supermarket and Boots sandwiches are the prawn mayonnaise, which is just prawns and mayonnaise on bread, usually like white bread, sometimes if you're like being healthy, brown bread. Or this, which is, I guess they're no longer calling it all day breakfast, but it's sausage, bacon, and egg, and it's breakfast foods in whole wheat toast, and I love it. I'm gonna eat it. I watched this totally random Cher fan TikTok the other day, and it said that she always has Dr. Pepper in her recording studio, so I love Dr. Pepper. So I got a Dr. Pepper Zero at W.H. Smith when I was buying my newspapers. So I'm gonna eat that. That's my lunch. It's kind of late. Not really, okay, it's not too bad. It's like 1:25, so it's not as late as like I used to eat lunch. I'm getting better, I'm getting back on schedule, although I sometimes do still have the problem where I eat such a big breakfast, or I stagger my breakfast between like 6 a.m., 7 a.m., and like 10 a.m. that I'm not even hungry till 3, but on the weekends, I guess it's okay. I guess I'm doing okay. Congratulations me for eating lunch before 3 p.m. While I was out, I also went to Boots, which is one of my favorite stores, but I finally made myself a Boots Advantage card, which I haven't had in 20 years, so I'm excited to spend more money there. So I got some more toothpaste. I really like these 3D White Luxe toothpaste. I think Oral-B is either, I think it's Crest in the US, but it's the same company. So I use this in the US, and I now use it here. This is my favorite concealer. Like, I've used all of like the influencer favorite concealers too, but I always come back to the Collection Lasting Perfection concealers that you can only buy in the UK. You can't even buy them online, really. I have a couple of colors, and I'm gonna try Light Vanilla because I tried Biscuit and it's a little bit too warm for me, so I'm gonna try this. They actually just redid all of their color names, so that's why I don't know what color I am anymore, even though I've been using this for like 10 years. I picked up some new lip glosses and lipsticks just for fun, and these are old favorites. This is the NYX Butter Gloss in Praline, and I've used this forever and ever and ever. It's such a neutrally light brown color. It is the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in Abu Dhabi. I've also been wanting a cream cleanser. I have been using the Glossier Jelly Cleanser forever, and I really like it, but I want something that's a hot cloth cleanser. And years ago, I tried this, the Liz Earle Hot Cloth Cream Cleanser. It's the Cleanse and Polish cleanser, and so I bought the kit. It comes with 2 face muslins, and I'm gonna try it again to see if I still like it. I picked up a body brush because now I have like so much free time. No, it's not true, but I'm home all the time, so thought I would make this part of my self-improvement in 2021 ritual. And I got a face cloth. I have been also wanting a face cloth, and I actually went to Boots to look for one a couple of weeks ago, but they didn't have any, and now they do, so I picked one up. So the verdict on the sandwiches is that it was not very good. Surprise! So I'm just looking at my calendar. We have been in Tier 4 lockdown now since the 26th. So it's been 3 weeks. 3 weeks of this. And overall, I think I'm doing okay. I'm not really sure because I feel like when I was in Hong Kong, and things like gyms started closing, and recreational things started closing, and when the only places to go were malls or hiking or something like that, I felt okay too there. But in retrospect, and I described this to a friend of mine who lives in Hong Kong still, when they were like, oh, how are you doing? And I'm like, I feel really good about living in England. For me, I don't know if it's just because it's a change of scenery, but after a year of open, closed, lockdown, not lockdown, restaurants open, restaurants closed, going to the mall, I really started to feel in Hong Kong like I was sort of like an animal in a zoo. Like I was doing the same things over and over and over again, sort of just trying to get through the day. And that is primarily because it's on me. Like I made the decision in September to move into a hotel room to save money, and because I knew I was going to be leaving, so I was saving money because I knew I was going to be leaving and I didn't want to extend my lease. So a lot of that was on me because I chose to live in a hotel room for 2 months. So part of me definitely feels better here because I live in like a normal size apartment. It is by no means a large apartment, but for me, it's a good size, and I feel like I have space to do things like home workouts, and I have places to do like lunges across the floor if I want to, and like spread out my mat, and I feel like I have a sense of freedom. Plus I do have like a little bit of private outdoor space. I have a balcony, which is really, really nice, and that has been so important to me. Actually, I've been thinking a lot about where I want to live in the next few years, and wherever I live, I feel like one of the most important things for me to consider now is to always try to find a place that has private outdoor space. And private outdoor space, and not just like just like a French doors to like a Juliet balcony or something, but like a place where you can like step outside even just for a few minutes, or sit outside and just to breathe fresh air and be outdoors, especially if the world is going to be going through this open, closed, lockdown, stay home, go outside, come here, go away thing for the next year or so. So that's something I've been thinking about, and that has really helped me too, because I do have a balcony here. I do get a lot of sunlight here, which is also, I realize, so important for me. I grew up in New York City, and I never thought of myself as somebody who was an outdoors person, and I am by no stretch of the imagination an outdoorsy person. But as I've gotten older, I've realized that I am in a better mood if I go to a place like LA, or if I can see the water and I can see the sky. That was one of the biggest differences for me between my first and my second apartment in Hong Kong. My first apartment, I looked directly at the water. I looked at Victoria Harbor, and I loved it. And it made me feel so calm, but also I wasn't just looking at another building. I didn't feel that sense of claustrophobia of being trapped in a big city. My second apartment was in like the center of the city, and so I just looked at another building, and even though I had little balconies, it wasn't the same because I couldn't see the sky, and I wasn't even seeing anything that was like even vaguely natural. So here, my apartment has really big windows, and I get really good light almost the entire day. Even if it's cloudy, I get pretty good light. It's because I can see the sky, and the buildings are all low rise here in Oxford. So that has been really good for my mental health. Otherwise, I think I've been pretty okay about setting up my morning routine. If you saw my video a couple of videos ago, I think one of my biggest New Year's resolutions this year can be broadly defined as self-improvement and self-discipline, or self-improvement wrapped inside of self-discipline. So I want to be able to set my own schedule and stick to it for my own sake, and not because of somebody else, and not because of work or meeting a KPI or trying to like hit someone else's goals. And I think that I'm getting there. I'm actually like, I'm pretty happy with my progress so far. I have been getting back on track, waking up super early, doing my home workout. Like I mentioned before, I am like finding exercises that I am really enjoying doing, which is shocking to me that I'm enjoying doing home workout things. And I think I'm getting my food back on track, my eating. On the weekends, I am a bit loose with myself because I moved back to England because I love so many things about the food culture here. And unfortunately, restaurants are not open right now, but I do want to engage with local businesses and the community here and to like have human interaction. So on the weekends, I do tend to go and like buy meals outside, or I just go to shops and I'll try to like, you know, try different snack foods, or I don't know, just I'm trying to find a balance for myself. Otherwise, I didn't find a book today. I was looking for a book to buy, but they didn't have that many books on the ground floor at WH Smith, and I actually don't know where else I would find a book. I think they have a couple of books at Sainsbury's, but I was there yesterday and I didn't see anything that I wanted to buy. There's so many mystery books here and like crime and suspense thriller books here. I think they're doing really well. I don't know why. When you look at the charts here, a lot of the top selling books are like mystery and suspense. I am not that into that genre, so we'll see. Maybe I'll have to order some books on Amazon. Yeah. Anyway, that's the update. It's not too exciting. But I suspect lots of people are also in the same boat. I think lots of big cities all over the world are locked down or in some state of semi-lockdown, or we're all just living kind of restricted public lives, which is a very interesting place to be. But what I feel really, really lucky about is that through my job, I'm still able to engage with a lot of people all over the world. I do really like that my job, it involves reading everything online, understanding what resonates with our audience, and then creating content for our audience. And I feel very, very lucky that even though we're in isolation and lockdown, and I'm not necessarily able to engage with my community the way that I prefer to engage with them, which is in person, face to face, as like human beings, I feel very lucky that I'm still able to talk to people and that I have a platform. Anyway, that's the video for this weekend. That's my update. I hope you're having a great January. I hope you're having a really, really good 2021 so far. It started out pretty rough, global politics, but here's hoping it gets better. So I hope you're staying safe and healthy. Hope you and your family are doing great, and I will see you guys next time.